Hi, folks. We are back. We are jumping right into how to sing in tune with a song focus. I'm going to recap those 6 steps that we talked about in the beginning of this lesson, the other video, and hopefully you make it to this one. So, those steps that we talked about that we can follow with any song to make sure that we are singing in tune, singing the melody accurately, is first to determine the key. We talked about different ways that we can do that. So we can just Google it, although the results on that are somewhat mixed. We can use a site called In What Key. We can also use the chord chart or sheet music found. I like to use Ultimate Guitar for chord charts, and those have the key listed as well. So it's a good sign if you're looking at these different resources and you find consensus. So the example that we used was Hey Jude by the Beatles. We saw whatever site we looked at, it told us that the key was F major. And that's also confirmed by the song itself. When you hear that, if you're in the key of F major, for example, the melody is sort of revolving around and resolving to the pitch F. So at the end of the chorus, then you begin to make it better. It ends on F, and that's just further confirmation that we are in the key of F. We also mentioned that when you're looking for the key, you want to make sure that you're either, if it says nothing, you can assume that it's a major key. That sounds like this, or that's a major scale. If it says minor, though, that's a different scale. Minor sounds different. Different pitches are included there. So if it says minor, then you would want to look for the minor scale. And so our second piece of this is practicing the scale. If you're practicing Hey Jude, then you would sing through the F major scale in whatever key is comfortable for your voice. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Nick. That's awesome. Weird. I don't know what was going on, but I'm glad everything is hunky dory now. Third step was to use the guide track as long as you need. So if you're working on Hey Jude, you're singing along with the Beatles for a long time until you're really, really solid on the melody. Fourth step, this is kind of where we got cut off before. Fourth step is to use vocal remover to basically create to dial down the volume of the vocal gradually. When students struggle with pitch, when they struggle to stay in tune, they don't yet have the skill to, they might not have the tonal memory and they might not have the skill to determine whether or not their voice is blending in with the track in a consonant way or if there's unwanted dissonance there. So that's why I say you can turn down the volume of the lead vocal gradually. And site allows you to do that. You don't need to log in or anything like that. All you would need is the track itself. So if you're using Hey Jude as your practice, then you would need probably MP3 of Hey Jude to upload. And then what the site does is it splits it into two. It splits. Kaylin is saying I'm breaking up. Whew. Am I breaking up for other folks? I don't know what's going on today. Okay, let me know if that's happening across the board. I do not know what else to do if that's happening. So it would split it into the lead vocal and then what it calls the music or the instrumental part of the track. And then you'll have, 2 volume faders and you can just drag down that vocal maybe to 80% and then 50% and kind of wean yourself off of singing with the guide. Okay. Boy, I'm having bad luck with technology today. I'm not quite sure. And Melina Joy says everything sounds good. I'm going to keep going and hope that it sorts itself out. So our last step, and this is where we're going to jump into some real songs. Last step is to listen to the chords within the instrumental or karaoke track and see if you can tell when your voice is fitting in with the chord and when there's audible kind of a clash or what we might call unwanted dissonance. So we're going to jump in I'm going to use as our first song, because it's a pretty well-known one, Amazing Grace. And I'm going to give you a link right here. We're using the sheet music because we have a visual representation of the melody, what we're looking at here, and let me know if that link came through. Hopefully it did. It should take you kind of just to a PDF of, it says Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound on the top. And what you'll see, you'll actually see more than one vocal part because this is meant to be like a 4-part choir situation. But we're just looking at the top line. Amazing Grace. Lower voices could be down here. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Hopefully hopefully everyone will find a part that feels somewhat comfortable. I know this is a little bit high for, the altos in the group. That saved a wretch like me. And if you're also recovering from being sick like me, that's not going to feel too great, but hey, we're rolling with it. I once was lost, but now am found. Or if you're a low voice, was blind, but now I see. So if you're not familiar with this song, it's an old hymn. I'll play the melody for you. Okay, and Melina Joy says the link is good. So I'm going to play the melody for high voices first. If you know it, you can sing along, but just to kind of get it in your ear. And by the way, we are in the key of G. That first and last chord are G. It's revolving around G. Da, 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 da. The melody ends on G. All of those signs are pointing to the fact that this is in the key of G major. So remember, our next step would be singing the G major scale. Let's actually do that now. So you're going to start here, or even down there, low voices. And you're going to be singing a scale from, think, 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll play it kind of in the higher octave first, and then the lower. And I'll take it just a tad slower. Again, we're just getting situated within this key. 1, 2, ready, sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the 2 lower octaves for low voices and altos. 2, ready, sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to play the chords. Just listen. Ooh, sorry, timing was off. Okay, again, just getting our ear and our brain in G major mode. So now I'm going to play the melody for you. I'll start again with the kind of higher octave, amaze, and then I'll do one for the lower octave. And so this will be our step of singing along with the melody. So instead of me singing, I'll just play on the keyboard. I'm going to give you a 1, 2, 3, ready, go. Amaze. Ready? 1, 2, 3, ready, go. good for low voices here. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. So I'm going to pause here to just state if that step, the singing along with the melody, if that step is kind of fuzzy or unclear for you, then the skill that you would want to work on for a little bit longer is the skill of matching pitch. So if you're like, okay, I know this song, but I don't think I'm singing the right notes, it doesn't sound right and it doesn't sound good, then I would recommend that you pause, maybe even pause song work for a time and just focus on matching pitch, matching one pitch at a time. The thing is, when we start doing vocal exercises and jumping into songs, we're changing pitch almost constantly. We're hardly ever just hanging out on one single pitch. So this is a skill that's well worth your time to develop. So if that's you, there are plenty of ear training apps out there. That's what I would look for, is ear training apps for singers. And I think Tone Gym and Sing True, and there's Perfect Pitch, Perfect Ear. There's a ton of different ones, but try them out. Try the free ones, and if you really need to, pay for something. But that would be step number one. And you can also look on the channel for other videos that talk about singing in tune and matching pitch. Those can help you too. Okay, so our next step in this process, we've identified the key, G major. We've sung the scale. We've sung with the guide. And now we'd be at the step of turning down the volume of the guide vocal. Now, it's tricky for me to do that because there's just one of me. So we might skip over that step, and now we'll go to playing the chords or listening to the chords and singing along with them. So whichever octave you're in, amazing grace, you're not going to be hearing that anymore. You're just going to be hearing the chord. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. And you can hear, the chord changes. It should sound consonant. It should sound like it fits together. So for example, amazing grace, how sweet. That pitch that I'm singing on the word sweet, that pitch is found in the chord sweet. So even though the melody isn't being played individually pitch by pitch for you, the chords being played that's giving you all the information you need in order to sing in tune. Sweet the, again, the pitch I'm singing is there within the chord. Sound, there it is, that saved a wretch. All of that melody is within the chord. That saved a wretch like, there it is, me. So I hope that makes sense for you. A chord on the piano or on a guitar, a chord is comprised of multiple pitches all at once. Most singers are only able to sing just one pitch at a time. So the melody, for the most part, you're jumping around, but you're singing pitches that are already being played by an instrument, by the piano or by the guitar. And if it's not being played by the instrument, it'll still sound good with it. I'm going to try to find an example in here. So this song is kind of an interesting example. It never requires you to sing a pitch that isn't already being played by the chords. Um, which is kind of cool. It's a great song then for ear training. But let's see if I have another on my list of kind of popular public domain songs that might give us chances to do that. So I'm going to go to Auld Lang Syne. I'm going to give you the link again. And this one actually has multiple keys that we could do this in. So go ahead and head to that link. The first key that it has is key of F. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never? That one's fine. Key of A, I'm trying to think of what's going to work for most voices. I think key of C might not be too bad. Or maybe key of D. Should old acquaintance be forgot and... Yeah, I think I like key of D. So scroll down until you see it'll be in big blue letters, the key of D. And then in the sheet music itself, the first chord is D. And okay, WR Toombs was saying D or A. Perfect. Let's do key of D. Yeah, because I was thinking low voices, some tenors might kind of bottom out at that A. But that should still be pretty comfortable for low voices. And then, yeah, high voices I think will be good here. Okay, so we've got our key. Remember from before, we can just Google key of D, and that should tell us the pitches that belong. That tells us the scale. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. And then, to repeat it, D, and so on. It also might tell us, if you Google key of D, it might tell you the chords that belong in that key. And again, because a key is just a set of pitches and that kind of home base pitch being D, the chords are also built using those same pitches. So this is something that we've covered in lessons past. But if you look up key of D or key of D major, actually, the first thing that pops up for me is a resource I've used before and shared, Piano Keyboard Guide, and it's the chords in the key of D major. And it goes through, it tells you D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, and then just to finish it out, back to D major. If you take a look at Auld Lang Syne, the sheet music there, you'll see that all of those chords, they all fit. They all, belong in the key. That won't always be the case, by the way. You'll have songs a lot of times with kind of funky chords that might step outside of the key. But anyways, we've chosen kind of more basic songs. So let's sing our D major scale, get ourselves situated within this key. I'll play the chords for you again to just get your ear in there. And here are our 2 octaves. High voices start on D4. Low voices start on D3. And again, we're going to be singing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, ready, and sing. Once more for fun. Perfect. Now we're going to do the same thing we did before. I'm going to play the melody for you. Okay, should old acquaint, and I'm noticing here that pitch on acquaintance, it actually should be a C sharp. So we have A, D, then we should have C sharp, D. Let's see if there are any other mistakes. Oops. Okay, so far so good. The only thing that was different, the da 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 da, and most people go and nev instead of and nev, and then okay, we are good. So I'm gonna play it now at a consistent tempo for you. High voices starting here on A3. Should old, ready and sing. Chorus. Low voices, it's your turn. Ready and sing. Chorus. Nice. So this next step that we can't do right now because there's, no real practical way to do it, but the step in between singing along with the guide and singing with the karaoke track or the instrumentation would be to turn down the vocal or turn down the guide using vocal remover. Okay, but I'm going to give you the chords now. And this is actually a good example of there's dissonance, but it's planned dissonance. So in the very beginning, should old, you can hear there's some dissonance there. There's a little bit of like a rub, and that's planned. So you would know that it's planned by listening to the original track and hearing that kind of tension there. Unplanned dissonance, where I'm singing out of tune, would sound like this. Should old, I'm not even close. Should old, now I'm fitting in. Should old acquaint. And that little moment of planned dissonance, it's fleeting. You don't hang out there for a long time. Okay, so here are the chords, my friends. Whatever key you're singing in, or sorry, whatever octave you're singing in. We're all singing in the key of D. Again, I'm going to give you a ready and sing. Should old. Ready and sing. A few areas or spots to watch out for are whenever you have a large leap or maybe a note that feels a little bit high for you. Um, those are moments in my experience where singers tend to get off track. Um, so if there's a large leap, let's see, for example, where we have should old acquaintance be forgotten, never brought to mind. So that's the highest note of the song, mind. If that feels like a stretch for you, then that would be a moment to check your pitch accuracy. So you could do that by singing along with the original again, or if you have the ability, looking at the sheet music and seeing what pitch it is. It's a B, and then using a chromatic tuner to see, am I in tune? Am I actually singing that B? Or there if I'm an octave lower. Um, and then large leaps. That's another spot where we could go off track. Should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne. So right here we end on D, and then we jump to B. So that could be a moment, especially if that higher pitch is sort of out of your comfort zone. That could be a moment where you don't go high enough, and that would be a spot to check your pitch accuracy. It's also helpful as we're kind of in this singing in tune within songs focus. It's helpful to make note of where that pitch appears earlier in the melody. So if that spot was troublesome for you, then I would go back and see, okay, when's the last point that I sang that B? For old. So the last time it happened would be on the word mind. Mind should old. So what I would do then is I would try to memorize how that pitch felt in my voice and how it sounded to me. And then I would think about returning to that feeling and sound. So for example, if that was the issue I was having with singing in tune, I would be singing along. I would go, should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? And I would say, okay, remember that. Should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? Then remember that high note. For old. And now it doesn't feel like such a big jump because I have the kind of reassurance and the confidence that I've already sung that note. It's not that high. I've already done it. So easily I can return to it. So I'm going to pause right here since we are 15 minutes from the end of our time together. I want to make sure if you do have questions that they get answered. So now's a good time to get in questions if you had any. Let me go back to my kind of list of steps, and I'm going to put it in the chat for you just in case you want to do this on your own later. Hopefully it all fits. Okay, so step 1 was determining the key. Step 2 was practicing the scale. Step 3, using a guide track as long as you need. Step 4, using that website vocal remover to gradually turn down the volume of the lead vocal. Step 5, graduate to the karaoke track only once you feel really confident and really solid on the melody. There's no benefit to graduating to the karaoke track sooner than you're comfortable with. And then last step, listen to the chords and, the melody. Your voice should fit within the chord structure. There shouldn't be this audible clash like, horns honking on the freeway. That is a sound we want to avoid. Okay, if there are no questions that come up, I'll keep my eyes on the chat, but I'll jump into another song as an example. So we worked through Amazing Grace. We worked through Auld Lang Syne. This might be a little bit of a trickier one, Blue Skies. It is a jazz standard. I don't know whose version is like the most popular, but if you have a version you like, please tell me about it in the chat. And there's the link right there to the sheet music. This, I don't have different key options. We're just in the key of C minor. So this is a good, thanks, Tim. Awesome. This is a good example of a minor key. So if you looked up, what key Blue Skies is in, there might be a variety of keys that come up because different singers have sung this song. It's kind of different than if you're looking up, what key is Shake It Off in. And of course, Taylor Swift's version of Shake It Off is going to be the one that comes up. With jazz standards and older songs like this, more more people have covered them. So that might get a little bit tricky finding the key to a specific arrangement or specific cover that you're working with. But for our sheet music here, blue sky smiling at me. I want to go through a little bit. And we have chords that are also a little bit more complex. So if you're reading this chord chart and you're like, I don't know what that is, don't worry about it, for one. But I'm going to sing maybe just the first two lines. So blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. And here it is in 2 octaves. So high singers, blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. The next line is different lyrics, but same melody. So no need repeating that. Here it is in the lower octave for low voices. Okay, once more, each voice part, just in case this is new for you. If you feel like you could sing along, whatever voice type you have. 1, 2, ready and sing. Okay, cool. So we're going to go nice and slow with the chords. Oh, that one's going to change faster. So that's how slow we're going to go. I'll be more consistent, but blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. And then we can do the next line as well. It's the same chords, same everything, just different words. And if you're overwhelmed right now and you're like, I've never even heard this song, then you can just sing do, 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 and just try to catch on to that melody a little bit. So we're going slow so that we have time to hear, are we fitting in with the chord, or is there unwanted, unplanned dissonance happening? Your first 2 pitches, because it's kind of a large leap right away, C to G, that would be a good one to work with a tuner, especially if you struggle with pitch matching. Work with a chromatic tuner and see, okay, am I singing C and then G? And if you've got those 2 pitches, then you'll see the next pitches we sing are just floating around in there. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue. And then here's a big jump, blue skies. So that would be another spot to kind of spot check. G, B flat, do I see? Okay, so Nick, yes, and we'll just finish up, me playing the chords with this one more time through, and then we'll jump to that. Okay. 1, 2, ready and sing. Blue sky smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song. Nothing but bluebirds all day long. Okay. Um, ooh, okay, question. I can copy a line someone sings, but I don't know the notes or the letters for each note. At some point, do you get to know these by osmosis? No. You would not pick this up by osmosis. You would need to have a few things in place. You would need to have a way of determining at least one of those pitches, and then kind of the music theory background to understand, okay, if that's the pitch, for example, if you're singing this song, blue skies smiling at me. If you identify one of the pitches, C, and okay, it's in C minor, and you know what that scale is, then you could fill in the gap C, G, F, E flat, F, G. Um, but no, I think only a select few people, kind of with like some natural perfect pitch tendencies, would be able to do anything close to osmosis to do that. But you would still need the music theory knowledge to know what to call it, if that makes sense. And Paul was saying, is practicing the melody using lip trills useful for phrasing, pitch, and keeping a consistent airflow? Absolutely. That's one of the best things you could do. Would be to practice the melody of a song you're singing on something semi-closed like a lip trill. That's wonderful. So Nick suggested a breakdown for Tom Walker not giving in, and timestamp is 312 to 319. I'm going to take a listen. Thank you so much. And Nick knows because he's been here before. Sometimes the links don't go through, so giving this in text is very helpful. Okay, going straight to 312. The singer before the video, which is funny. Okay, 312. Okay. Da 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 da. I think okay, hold on, hold on. Let me listen again. Da 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 da. So a couple things that I noticed. Da 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 da. That little kind of fall off thing. That might be one thing that you're talking about. So da 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 da. You can think of that as C C C, and then that really quick fall going from A to G. C C C A G da 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 da. And then what he does there, he's going from C to D, and then he's letting this really wide vibrato come in at the end. My dear. And it's also happening on the R sound. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not sure if that is what you also heard or if that's what you wanted help with. Um, Let me know if I picked up on it. But I'll listen again just to make sure there was nothing else cool and funky I'm missing. Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing that stands those are the 2 things that stand out to me the most, and I think the thing that, is maybe most confusing is dear is that bending, D, bending on the E, then going to the R, dear. So it's like E bend, then sound, and then vibrato. So that makes it sound, I think, more complex just because of that. If that timing doesn't come naturally to you, then it might feel, yeah, unnatural. But but that's what I heard. And I would say poker god, kind of circling back to your question. Um, oh, gotcha. Ah, okay. Got it, Nick. Da, 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 da. So another thing you could do if you want, you could have a little catch breath after that first short phrase. Da 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 da. And yeah, it is, going to a D, it's getting kind of high chest voice. And I would say both an E vowel and an R sound, like both of those have potential to be kind of tricky. So I can see where you're coming from there. But Poker God, just circling back, kind of some of the steps that we talked about, identifying the key, singing the scale, looking at the pitches of that scale, looking at sheet music as you're practicing. All of this kind of helps to build the background knowledge um, that is necessary, but you would still need the kind of nitty gritty music theory in order to hear a pitch. Some people can hear a pitch and identify what that pitch is, but um, most people can't. Some people train the ability, like they'll memorize a pitch or maybe they'll be able to get close. But, anyways, you would still need the music theory to understand, okay, if I'm hearing a D, okay, now what's the context? What key am I in? And what pitches comprise that key and all of that. So, and Nick, it's Tom Walker Not Giving In, Vivo Live. So if any of you want to, there you go. If and if you want to continue some music time, then you can listen to that. I'll listen to the rest of this because this looks good. Thank you for introducing me to a new artist. I don't know this person. Um, Thank you, folks, for making the jump over to this new video. If you were here in the first one, technological issues abounded, but thankfully we do have uh, the list of our steps to go through. So if you just scroll back a little bit in the live chat, if you just joined, you'll see the steps that we covered, and we went through Amazing Grace, Auld Lang Syne, and a little bit of Blue Skies, going through those steps. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you have a little bit more, clarity and some concrete steps to follow to help you sing in tune when you're singing actual songs. I know that's tricky, but that's where the rubber meets the road, and where it really counts. So thanks again. I will see you in, I think, a couple weeks. I think you'll be with Abram next week, and then I'll be back. All right. Bye.